대표님께서는요, 현재 세계 여행 관광협회 대사로 활동하시면서 지속가능한 관광과 국제협력 증진에 앞장서고 계십니다. 또한 UN 지속가능 발전 목표 SDG 명예위원장을 역임하시면서 포용적 발전 그리고 지속가능한 관광 확산에 기여해 오신 국제 관광 분야의 대표적인 리더십니다. 오늘 특별 세션에서도 지속가능하고 회복력 있는 관광의 미래를 위한 국제협력 그리고 실천 방안에 대해 깊이 있는 논의를 이끌어 주시겠습니다. 저는 마이크를 이사님께 넘겨드리겠습니다.
Thank you, Madam. Welcome to this special session organized with the UN Tourism. And how many of you know where the UN Tourism is? Do you know where it is? UN Tourism. UN Tourism 본부가 어디인지 아세요? 아무도 모르시죠? We should have advertised. UN Tourism is an United Nations organization composed of about 180 members, right? 61. I was just adding a little more. And 161 member states, and the headquarters is in Madrid, Spain. So if you travel to Spain next time, please go and see where the UN Tourism is. And Executive Director is his second man, is Secretary General, and he is the Assistant, he's the Secretary General, Deputy Secretary General. I get always confused with Executive Director and Deputy Secretary General, but you are Deputy Secretary General. He's second man. 두 번째 분이 오신 거예요. Okay, so that, so I thank you for your very, very comprehensive presentation, which we appreciate. And I'm going to ask panelists. I'm not going to introduce one by one, but I'm just going to ask you to speak first, and then I'm going to ask Mr. Minister from Maldives. 몰디브에서 오신 장관님이세요, 관광장관님. So I'm going to ask Mr. Minister to say a few words and what we have prepared. You can use microphone next to you.
Excellencies, it's an honor to speak. My name is Abdul Daniaz. I'm the Minister of State for Tourism and Civil Aviation of the Republic of Maldives. And I have a lot of distinguished speakers here, so I would like to welcome everyone and also thank you for listening. With Maldives, we are a small island nation in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And talking about the theme of today, we have been also impacted by the Gulf crisis, so we are navigating through a very difficult time. Similar to a lot of small island nations, we are also impacted with the low tourism arrivals. We are having issues with connectivity, and we also having to find solutions to this particular crisis. So the question is how international cooperation can better respond to the specific needs of destinations, small island destinations like the Maldives, particularly in relation to climate adaptation, connectivity and tourism develop dependent economies. So there are areas where international cooperation is currently insufficient and where concrete improvements are possible. So firstly, if we very precisely, I would like to say climate adaptation. The financing gap is very vast and the instruments are mismatched. The Maldives also faces adaptation investment needs of around 2 to 4 billion for sea level rise protection alone. The country also has public debt to GDP ratio around 133%. and we can have a situation where it goes up to 150. So standard climate financial instruments with their long application cycles, complex eligibility requirements, and monitoring burdens, they are not designed for government managing a fiscal crisis simultaneously a climate emergency. So international cooperation must create dedicated and simplified access pathways to small island developing states within the Green Climate Fund or the Adaptation Fund or the multilateral development banks. The Barbados agenda was a very good step in the right direction. I believe International Year for Resilient Tourism 27 should produce the concrete financial outcomes that operationalize it in tourism sector specifically. Second, I will just quickly highlight on connectivity. The International Aviation Framework has no mechanism for protecting tourism connectivity to small island developing states during geopolitical disruptions. Air services agreements are bilateral commercial instruments. They do not certainly contain provisions for maintaining baseline tourist flows when regional conflicts disrupt transit hubs. What we need is a multilateral commitment through UN Tourism, ICAO, or dedicated SITS aviation partnership, which establishes a minimum connectivity guarantee for small island developing states. We need a framework within which alternative routing options are pre-identified, airline incentives are pre-structured, and bilateral aviation relationships are deepened before crisis, not scrambled together during a crisis. The third I wanted to highlight on tourism-dependent economies. The IMF and World Bank treat tourism sector shocks as components of broader balance of payment growth analysis. They do not have a tourism-specific analytical and support framework that calibrates the speed, scale, and conditionality of the response to the particular characteristics of small island developing states' tourism economies, where the shock transmission from external disruption to domestic fiscal crisis is measured in weeks, not quarters. So the post-COVID period showed that SITS tourism economies can recover slowly when given space to do so. The international financial architecture should build on that lesson by creating pre-agreed standby instruments for SITS tourism economies rather than repeating the reactive scramble of 2021. That's in summary what I have around the Maldives. I will give space for my other speakers. Thank you.